I find it rather interesting when a series dedicated to one genre, like action or adventure or crime, in it there's a protagonist that isn't interested at all in that genre and wants to avoid it at all costs. However, because they exist in a world based off of that genre, they tend to be pulled into doing that thing they don't want to do anyway. There are many of these characters in a lot of my favorite series. There's Rebecca from One Piece, there's Vash from Trigun, Steven from Steven Universe, and Mega Man X from Mega Man. But the difference between these characters and a real-life pacifist is all of these characters have the undeniable destiny to fight in their series. If they don't fight, who will, so to speak? But what about a character that doesn't have a predetermined destiny? What about a character that wasn't meant to be in any fights, but found themselves struggling against enemies who pose a serious bodily threat to them? And even then, they don't physically fight. This is a character that is trying to live a harmless life in a harmful world, daring to keep their nonviolent beliefs even when faced with mortal peril. This is a character that is naive and selfless enough to think all problems have a nonviolent solution and will always seek these solutions first. And this is a character that, despite not wanting to hurt anyone, will have to accept the fact that the world they're living in is a violent one, and in order to protect not themselves but others, violence is required. This is a character like Cream the Rabbit. Now, I understand that she is hated by many fans for being unsuited for an action-adventure game, but I'm making this video to counter that mindset. So today, I'm going to meticulously analyze Cream's history, her character arc, her design, and my personal wishes for her, and hopefully I can fully explain why she is one of my favorite characters from this series, and maybe convince you to like her too, or maybe just hate her less. So here goes. Cream is the only daughter of Vanilla the Rabbit, a kind and loving mother, but one who is also a little strict. Under Vanilla's parenting, Cream has manners and proper etiquette as a part of her personality. She's a good little girl, polite, optimistic, peaceful, and sheltered. We'll get to this part of her personality later, but for now, just take my word for it. She's sheltered, and this part of her is going to be a big part of her character arc. She befriended Cheese early in her life, and the two have been inseparable since. They play together, they laugh together. Cheese is one of the family. Interesting considering he's a Chow, something that before Sonic Advance 2 came out was completely isolated to Angel Island, it seems. Don't quote me on that though. But whatever, Cream, Cheese, and Vanilla are living a peaceful life in their homey cottage in the forest. No worries whatsoever when suddenly Sonic Advance 2 happens. Robotnik kidnaps Cream and her mother. The two get separated, probably because Robotnik wants to use Vanilla in a giant robot or something. You know what? It's never really said why he kidnapped them. I guess he wanted to test out a theory. Small animals equals small badniks, so maybe big animals equals big badniks. Whatever the case is, Cream for the first time ever experiences violence and tragedy. Her mother isn't dead, but she was forcefully taken from her, and that's never happened before. Sonic appears, and Robotnik, using Cream as a hostage, engages him in battle. Sonic, apparently ignoring Cream's safety, beats up Robotnik like always, and the Doc runs away, waiting for the next boss battle. Cream has been saved by Sonic, and this is a very key moment in her life. Because, as previously stated, this is the first time, as we know, that she has experienced violence. And so handling this is going to be very important. Instead of freaking out, crying about her mother, and begging Sonic to rescue her, Cream expresses her thanks politely, as she's used to, and follows Sonic on this journey. This little girl, not knowing what she can do to help, not caring if Sonic is going to turn around and tell her to go somewhere and hide, not knowing what will happen next really, follows him on this adventure. Now, why would a girl opposed to violence and danger agree to something so dangerous? Well, she gives us a reason right in the game. There you have it. Her mother, someone she loves more than anyone, is in danger and she can't sit back and do nothing. Not only that, but I will go as far as to say that she believes it would be rude to lump our problems on Sonic and sit back and wait for him to fix everything for her. One part of manners and proper etiquette that most people don't think about is repaying your debts. The proper thing to do when someone does something very nice for you is you find a way to return that kindness. Sonic just saved her life and is about to go to war with the man that kidnapped her mother. Wouldn't it be natural for her to accompany him and help in whatever way she can? And wouldn't she be rude if she just sat somewhere and let him go on this journey without her? Not only that, but Cream loves her mother. What kind of daughter would she be if she didn't go to rescue her? And when she makes her choice to save her mother with Sonic, she takes her first step onto her road to character development. She was a hostage, but now she's an active ally. One important thing to note here, Cream still hasn't deviated from her pacifist ways. Sure, she's going to help Sonic fight Dr. Robotnik, but she isn't the one beating all the robots up, and she isn't the one fighting Dr. Robotnik directly. In games like these, where all the plot events that happen in the story only happen during one character's story mode, you have to assume that that character is the one doing all the fighting and adventuring. Despite the option to play as her, Cream hasn't taken it upon herself to destroy as many badniks as possible. It's obvious to assume that with Sonic around, she doesn't even have to fight. She's just there because it's the polite thing to do, she's brave for her age, and she has to feel like she's a part of this rescue team because it's her mother in trouble. During the game, Cream goes to many fantastical places she most likely never visited under her mother's care. I mean, would you take your 6-year-old to any of these places willingly? I hope not, otherwise Child Protective Services are going to knock your door down and take your kid away. But on this note of visiting strange and amazing places, Cream is experiencing an adventure like no other. As alluded to before, she is quite sheltered. I know this based on her in-game reactions to exploring the different zones. Look at this little ball of excitement. Do you honestly think she's ever gotten to do anything like this before? Vanilla is a strict parent. I imagine she's like a nicer Dr. Maheshwaran from Steven Universe. She keeps her child from doing dangerous things, and by doing that so diligently, we'll say diligently, Cream hasn't experienced all the things a normal kid might have, let alone experience the things that Sonic has. And that blue dude has done the craziest things possible, and an adventure with him has to be like a freaking roller coaster on steroids or something. And I know what a sheltered upbringing does to a kid. Heck, I was sheltered all the way up to high school. Couldn't watch or do anything too dangerous or too crazy, which means I only wanted to do those things more. I wanted to watch scary movies and I wanted to do crazy extreme sports because I wanted to experience something everyone around me had. I felt like I was missing out on life a little. So Cream might be subconsciously motivated to journey with Sonic because of this sheltered lifestyle she's lived up to this point. Again, she doesn't know what's going to happen later, but she has this chance to experience so many things she hasn't before right now, and she's not going to let it pass her by. A life of quiet makes you thirst for a little shouting and screaming, you know? So on this adventure, she meets more of Sonic's friends who seem to like her well enough. None of them tell her to go home or anything, so it seems to me like she's welcomed by them. And now that Tails, Knuckles, and Amy, even though I think she isn't unlocked until we beat the game with Cream, are with Sonic, Cream definitely isn't fighting. She's just there to support the people that are trying to rescue her mom. And boy, is that more than any citizen has ever done for the Sonic crew up to this point. Then Sonic beats the final boss, blows up Robotnik's floating base, and Vanilla is reunited with Cream. Everything is dandy until Robotnik kidnaps her again and flies off into space with her. Again, Vanilla is taken from Cream, and Cream just can't handle this anymore. She risked life and limb to get her back. She worked harder than she ever worked and helped Sonic and friends save her mom, and she finally had her back. And then Robotnik just takes her again, like nothing mattered, and she's powerless to stop him. She cries, understandably so. The situation would suck for anybody. Then Cream witnesses something incredible. Sonic transforms into Super Sonic right in front of her and flies after Robotnik, but not before ensuring her that he would bring Vanilla back safely. Now Cream most likely throughout the whole game has been thinking in the back of her head about all the nonviolent teachings that her mother instilled in her. With all of the robots attacking her and Sonic fighting back with extreme prejudice, she had to have been thinking, maybe there was a peaceful way to do that. She can't help it. That's who she was raised to be. Someone that believes violence doesn't solve anything. But she's been seeing over and over again throughout this adventure that violence is the only thing Sonic and Co are using to rescue the animals trapped inside the Badniks and to stop Robotnik from hurting people, and it's how they rescued her mother the first time, and it was how she knew Sonic would rescue Vanilla again. She's not stupid, she's naive. She's not stupid. You don't use the Chaos Emeralds to transform into this golden, glowing being of incredible power to talk it out with the enemy in space. You get what I'm saying? When Sonic returns, he has Vanilla in his arms, safe and sound, and of course Cream is ecstatic. She finally has her mom back, for reals this time, no takebacks, and she has her peaceful life back too. She also made some friends who are so strong and cool that Cream, being the impressionable youth she is, can't help but look up to them and want to be with them. There's a piece of her that knows wherever they are, they'll be fighting, which is the only reason she is able to hug her mother in this moment. People fought and took her back by force. Something Vanilla has taught her is always wrong to do. But how can it be wrong if she's been saved by it? What is this world she's now living in, where violence ends up saving her life, her mother's life, and every other person on the planet's lives? Now we have this naive, sheltered little girl questioning her beliefs in her mind with the game already ended.